Okay, so this year's theme for Pride is intersectionality, and our theme is "Pieces of Me Make Me Who I Am." And I think that's an incredibly important way of looking at this whole issue, really, isn't it? Of inclusion. We know the importance of Pride. We know the importance of celebrating people being who they are and being able to be their authentic selves. And Pride is a wonderful way for people to be able to be themselves, to bring themselves to whatever situation. And I think a number of Pride festivals this year that we're going to, including New Forest and Southampton, and I think they're great celebrations, and I have to say it's one of my favourite days of the year when it gives us an opportunity to go and to be part of those communities and be part of that celebration of individuality. It's great that we've got the whole focus on intersectionality, and I guess just breaking that down a little bit, that whole thing about people aren't from one community or another. People bring lots of different pieces of themselves to the party, and that can include their sexual orientation, or whether they're trans or not, or whether they're non-binary, or as well as bringing to the party their ethnic origin, whether they have a long-term condition, or differently abled, and have a different way of looking at the world, or the gender, many different aspects of people that they bring to their lives. Generally speaking, the world, although getting better, the world has traditionally looked at white, heterosexual, able-bodied men as having the advantage and the privilege in our world. And I think, as a white, heterosexual, able-bodied man, you see that all the time. And I think we've talked before about privilege and what that means. And it's not about you have a privileged upbringing. This is about having different and less challenges by having privilege. As an example, we often talk about privilege in racial terms, and we know that you're far less likely to be stopped and searched if you're a white male than if you're a black male. But also, we know that society, is built differently. If you're a wheelchair user, then there are more barriers that society puts in place than again if you're not. When you overlap some of those areas, so if you are a wheelchair user, you are black or brown or from another minority ethnic background, and you're gay or lesbian or bi or trans, then those things overlap. The way society treats and doesn't include people, if we're not careful, overlaps into that intersectionality, that the way that those things present. And it's really important to recognise people for the individuals that they are. It's nice and easy and convenient for us to look at different groups when we're looking at statistics, but actually when it comes down to it, what we're really talking about is individuals and what they bring themselves into our workplace or into our society, or into when they come into our services. So it's great that this month that we are looking at pieces of me make me who I am, because that whole thing about how those things overlap is really important. Loads more that we can do. We've done lots as an organisation in Southern Health. We've done many things to try and improve the way we support people, and some of our staff survey shows some of that, but we've got a huge way still to go. Recognising individuals and starting to recognise individuals for who they are and what they bring is part of that whole process. So really pleased that we're looking at this issue. I think it's also a time to recognise some of the challenges that are out there at the moment for people, and look at some of the great role models that we've got in society at the moment. In Pride Month, people like Rosie Jones, who's has cerebral palsy, and is also gay, and she is very open about that, gets trolled quite a bit about that, but is very supportive of the wider community and recognising how her own situation can help and support others. Her role modelling can help and support others. I think but we see many people, as I say, these days getting trolled and getting criticised for being who they are, which we have to recognise that it's there so that we can avoid that as an organisation. I think the other bit to think about is the challenge that many of our trans, non-binary and question people are going through in our communities. I have the privilege of being a trustee on Beyond Reflections, which is an amazing charity supports local trans, non-binary and questioning people as they need it, and we see the amazing results that the charity has, but also the challenges that they present with people's mental health at the moment from a a trans perspective, trans plus perspective, and the almost double in people suffering from depression, increasing suicidal ideation, increasing in people needing secondary services because of what's where we are at the moment as a society, and almost the questioning of trans rights and of the rights of our trans communities to exist almost. And I think again, we have to recognise it so that we can do something about it. There is there's lots of things that we can do. Recognising individuals, not being scared to talk to individuals about in the right way about their own experiences and how we can support them, how we can make the workplace a better environment for people and as individuals, how we can recognise that the contributions that their lived experience, that their own intersectionality can bring to the workplace, and how that can support how we deliver services for the people that use them within Southern. How we embrace that and help people to bring that diversity into the team environment. There's some great evidence out there about how the diversity helps and supports better decision making, better problem solving, better strategic approaches to the complex teams and approaches we have as an organisation in our care. How people bring both their identity, whether that be religion, their sexual orientation, their ethnicity, their gender, or a combination of all those things, so identity, as well as the way that they bring their whole background, education into that conversation too. That helps us to have a that diversity, whether it's a psychology or a nurse or someone from an allied health profession. Or a doctor, that cognitive diversity as well as that identity diversity coming together makes for better decisions, better problem solving, more challenge that leads to better results. And again, taking that, using that individual's strengths and experiences and difference as a vehicle for better service delivery, better team functioning. If we embrace it and embrace intersectionality in all its glory, then it gives us better outcomes. So there is a real evidence out there of how this can make a big difference to the way that we work and the way that we deliver our care. So I'm really delighted that we are the piece of me make me who I am. That's our whole approach and what makes people who they are. That whole intersectionality, we bring that to us and we embrace it and we use it for helping us to make better services and making it a better environment for people to work. So that they, everyone in the workplace can be their best, most authentic selves and bring their true selves to work, because that's the way that we'll make the workplaces as engaged and as happy and as enjoyable for people as possible. I'm delighted that we're going to be part of Pride, delighted that we're celebrating Pride, and hope that everyone will be happy to join us.